The Battle of David and Goliath is one of the most well-known and cherished stories within the entire Bible. But what if the most famous giant in history wasn't 9 feet tall? The earlier texts record Goliath as significantly shorter, and a later change in height might be covering the narrative's true intentions and the legacy of David. Now, this issue of Goliath's height is important for two reasons. First, it illustrates the importance and contribution of the Dead Sea Scrolls to the text-critical issues within the biblical text. And second, with Goliath's proper height, the story's true intent emerges, because it's not a tale centered on David or Goliath, but on something far greater happening behind the scene. If you were to open your Bible, or one of the many popular English translations today, to 1 Samuel 17 verse 4, it would read something like this. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. Some even say he was 9 feet 6 inches tall, or he was over 9 feet tall. One even says that he was 10 feet tall. Now, the literal translation of this reads 6 cubits and a span. A cubit is roughly 18 inches, and so 6 times 18 is going to give you that 9 feet. Add a little extra is going to give you the 9 inches. Now, some Bibles, such as the NET, are going to have a footnote in it that says a span is equal to half of a cubit. And the reason that most English Bibles today have the reading 6 cubits and a span, or over 9 feet tall, is because these translations are based on the Masoretic Text. And this is what the Hebrew in the Masoretic Text reads. And I have this pulled up in Logos Bible software to show you what you see highlighted in yellow. On the left is the Hebrew, and on the right is the corresponding English translation from the ESV. However, while this reflects the majority of English translations today, there are several texts that predate the Masoretic Text and provide a different, shorter height for Goliath. And this height is 4 cubits and a span, which is roughly 6 feet 9 inches tall. These sources are Josephus in his Antiquities, the Septuagint, as well as the Dead Sea Scroll 4Q Sam A. And that specific document predates the Masoretic Text by over 1,000 years. And scholar and textual critic Emanuel Tov has noted in his book, Textual Criticism of the Hebrew Bible, that it is less likely that 4Q Sam A and the Septuagint downplayed the height of Goliath. And there are a few explanations as to why the Masoretic text reading is different. One of those is that perhaps the scribe wanted to amplify the story of David versus Goliath, so this scribe increased the height of Goliath. And another explanation for this is that in verse 7 of 1 Samuel 17, the text reads that Goliath's spearhead weighed 600 shekels of iron. And so some scholars have speculated that perhaps the scribe saw this 6 and simply inserted the 6 there instead of the 4. However, it remains a mystery as to why this change was made. And biblical scholar J. Daniel Hayes wrote an article on reconsidering the height of Goliath, where he provided a list of evidences for accepting the 4 cubits and a span reading. And he summarizes this in 6 points at the end of his article, and some of these evidences I've previously listed. But I think the most compelling piece of evidence he provides is the last one, which is where he states that the height 4 cubits and a span fits better with the literary context, keeping the focus of the story on the contrast between David and Saul. Hey, if you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check out the full-length video by clicking the link right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on biblical mythology. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for the support.